Hey everybody, Professor Benelou here with series of 3 short videos going over your Unit 2 discussion board assignment. I really want you to get a good idea of what is expected of you in this assignment. So I will be really going over this assignment well in these 3 short videos. This first short video will be just going over the assignment in general. And then the second one will be going over the first 3 topics that you can choose from. And then the final video we'll be going over the last 3 topics you can choose from to delve into in this very important assignment. Please start working on this as soon as possible so you have plenty of time to ask me questions. This is an incredibly important assignment. Okay, so to start with your Unit 2 discussion board, your original post is due Friday, November 22nd, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's where you answer the prompt. The second due date associated with this assignment is Tuesday, November 26th. That's when your peer responses are going to be due. You're going to have to respond to 2 of your classmates. And this will be due November 26th, which is Tuesday, by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And extremely important to note, that response post will not be accepted after November 26th. So get this in, everybody. Don't get 15 points taken right off the bat just because A, you didn't either respond to your classmate on time, or B, you didn't respond at all. So keep that in mind, and I'll go over that again and again with you. And I'll be going over this in our chats as well. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that this is a discussion board assignment where you will be analyzing a primary document. And you're going to choose from the list. There's 6 choices of primary documents that you can choose from. There's 4. You're going to analyze a primary document. It's all well and good to say you're going to analyze a primary document, but what in the world is a primary document? A primary document is a document that was written during the era of history you were studying. For example, the Declaration of Independence is a primary document from the American Revolution. Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham, Alabama jail is a primary document from the Civil Rights Movement. We're going to be getting into this. But the initial discussion board post or your original post is what's due on the 22nd. And don't get overwhelmed, okay? It's broken down into 3 sections. Take it step by step and you will be fine. The context section is worth 20 points. You need to name the document you chose to analyze. Who is the creator of the document? And briefly describe the creator of the document. Okay, that's the context section worth 20 points. Start with that first. Then go into the summary. Of course, you will have read the document before you start any of this. Summary is going to be worth 20 points. Write a brief summary of the source. What is the topic or issue of the source? What are the creator's main points about the topic? Or what is one interesting thing said in the document as well? Delve into that. Connections worth 15 points. How does the source help you better understand the Unit 2 learning materials, particularly in Telepath? How does it help you? Did the source support what you already knew about the topic? Let's say the Bay of Pigs, okay? If so, how? Or does the source change the way you think about this topic? And if so, how? Okay, so what is a primary document? Once again, a primary document is a document that was written during the specific time period you are studying. Okay, Gettysburg Address is a primary document from the Civil War, for example. Okay, within this assignment, you're going to be asked to describe the document read, the circumstances under which it was created, and how this document still impacts us today. If you're really stuck and really confused about what a primary document is, I have these 2 great sites that explain what a primary document is. Okay, so here is the topic list. You have the Bay of Pigs. This is a letter written by Richard N. Goodwin. This was written in regards to the invasion of known as the Bay of Pigs. And Goodwin was one of President Kennedy's advisors. This was written in 1961. The Cuban Missile Crisis is actually a YouTube video from October of 1962 in which President Kennedy discusses what has gone on with the Cuban Missile Crisis. He's addressing the American people. Vietnam War protests. This is a 1971 speech given by John Kerry. John Kerry served as a senator from Massachusetts. He was the 2004 nominee from the Democrats for president, and he most recently served as our Secretary of State under President Obama. But in 1971, when he gave this important speech, He was discussing the war in Vietnam, and he was against the war in Vietnam. He was a returning veteran that was disillusioned. Women's rights movement. This document was written in 1966. This is the founding document for the National Organization of Women, an organization that's still around today. And, look into its significance. The Chicano rights movement talks about Cesar Chavez and his role in fighting for the rights of migrant workers, okay, with his organization called the United Farm Workers. Very important. Black Power is an article basically discussing the civil rights movement from the view of the Black Power movement or folks that were, in the Black Panthers, et cetera, et cetera. All very interesting. All topics are extremely interesting. Have plenty of information out there on them. You just need to choose what interests you the most. Next video, I'll be going over the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Vietnam War protests. The third video, I'll be going over the women's rights movement, the Chicano rights movement, and the Black Power movement. Okay? So just a little heads up on that one. Okay, your peer responses. This is what's going to be due November 26th. Respond to at least 2 of your fellow classmates about their initial discussion board post. To help you with your discussion, please consider the following questions. I've always stated throughout the years, I love my students. You all are very supportive of one another. But don't just leave it at, I really liked your post. You did a great job. Okay, why? Answer the following 4 questions in your post to your fellow students and tailor that post to their post. Okay, tailor your response to their post. Firstly, what did you learn from your classmates' post? Are there connections between what you learned from your source and what you learned about their source? What is one interesting thing you learned about your fellow students' post? And lastly, what clarification do you need regarding the post? Okay, and this is the grading criteria sheet I will be using to grade your Unit 2 DB. After you are finished with this assignment, you've turned it in, the due date has passed, I will be taking this to grade it. That Wednesday morning, I will be sitting down and starting to grade your papers. All right, so Unit 2 discussion board grading criteria. The context section. Student identifies the creator, including a brief description. Student identifies when and where the document was created. My comments, how many points out of 20. Summary. Student fully summarizes the document, identifying the main topic, the main post, or the main points, and at least one interesting detail. My comments, how many points out of 20. Connections. Student identifies connections between the primary source and the unit learning materials. Student includes a discussion of how the source expanded or changed their previous knowledge. My comments, how many points out of 15. Peer responses. Again, don't get 15 points taken right off the bat, either because you didn't respond to your classmates on time or you didn't respond to them at all. Peer responses. You respond to your classmates in time. Okay, by the 26th. You will get the 10 points. Easy, right? Response content. Peer responses add new depth or insight to the current conversation and encourages further conversation. To me, encourages further conversation is the key. My comments, how many points out of 5? Academic writing. Student uses proper spelling, punctuation, and grammar to write clearly and effectively. References, if provided, are in APA format. My comments, how many points out of 5? I total it up and put it over 75 points. Okay, so the pertinent information, your initial discussion board post is due Friday, November 22nd by 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peer response posts are due Tuesday, November 26th, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And remember, everybody, after the 26th, peer responses will no longer be accepted. Okay, so please get those in. As always, you can always contact me between my email, lbenelux@colorado.tech.edu, my messenger, CTU Messenger. You can reach out to me through that. And a great time to get me is Monday, my office hours between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will answer you back most definitely. Okay, that's the end of the first short video, everybody. I hope that gives you a great idea of what in general is expected to you with the assignments. The next video will be going over the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the Vietnam veterans topic. All right, see you in a bit for video number 2.